Let's be real. When you first open up the JEE Mains syllabus, it feels like you're staring at the base of Mount Everest. It's huge, it's intimidating, and you're probably thinking, where do I even start? But what if I told you it's not a mountain? It's actually a map. And today, we're going to learn exactly how to read it.
Look, if you just opened that PDF and your heart sank a little, you're not alone, I promise. It is a massive amount of information, and it's completely normal to feel totally overwhelmed at first. But here's where we flip the script. We're going to stop thinking of the syllabus as this giant mountain of facts we have to memorize. Instead, think of it as your personal roadmap. It shows you every single highway, every town, and every important landmark you need to hit on your way to success.
So here's our game plan. We're going to dive deep into the core subjects for Paper 1. That's math, physics, and chemistry. Then we'll take a look beyond engineering at the B-Arch and B-Planning papers. And to wrap it all up, we'll put it all together to create your strategic study map. You ready? Let's do this.
All right, first up, mathematics. This is the absolute bedrock of the engineering exam. It's the subject that builds that strong, logical foundation you're going to need for pretty much everything else.
So how big are we talking? 14. That's right, 14 different units in math. Now just hearing that number might sound like a lot, but here's the secret. It's not about tackling 14 different things, it's about seeing how they all fit together.
So instead of a crazy long list of 14 units, we can actually group them into just 4 major themes. You've got your algebra. That's everything from sets and complex numbers to matrices. Then there's calculus, the study of change. You've got all your geometry, both 2D and 3D. And finally, you have this bucket of super important topics like vectors, stats, and trigonometry. See, it's already starting to look a whole lot less scary. And check this out. A topic like integral calculus can seem totally overwhelming, right? But the syllabus itself practically gives you the cheat codes. It literally spells out the exact types of integrals you need to master. And that's a huge takeaway. You're not expected to learn all of calculus. You just need to master what's on the map.
Okay, let's take all those awesome math tools we have and see where they take us next. Into physics. This is where those abstract math concepts come to life, helping us understand everything from how a satellite orbits the Earth to how a laser works.
All right, deep breath for this number. Physics has 20 units. Yep, 20. It's the biggest section in Paper 1. But seriously, don't let that number freak you out. Just like with math, there's a beautiful, hidden logic that connects all 20 of these pieces into one big story. And the flow's actually pretty cool. You start with the basics in mechanics, Newton's laws, gravity, all that good stuff. Then you move on to energy with thermo and waves. After that, you dive into the invisible world of electromagnetism and light. And it all leads up to the wild, mind-bending world of modern physics. It's a journey from the physics you can see and feel to the physics you can't. And hey, whatever you do, don't just skip over that last part, experimental skills. This is so important. The JEE isn't just about whether you can solve an equation. They want to know if you understand how physics actually works in a lab. You need to know why you're using a vernier caliper, not just how. This practical stuff is a non-negotiable part of the syllabus.
All right, time for our final core subject in Paper 1, chemistry. And the good news here is that the syllabus is very neatly divided into those 3 classic branches you're probably already used to, which makes it super easy to get your head around.
So it's broken down into its 3 main pillars. You've got physical chemistry, which is kind of like the why. It's the physics behind the reactions. Then you have inorganic, which is the study of, well, the entire periodic table. And finally, organic, the chemistry of carbon and life itself. And you can see right away, physical and organic are the heavyweights here, both with 8 units. So you know where you need to spend a lot of your focus.
This really nails the incredible range of the chemistry syllabus. I mean, you literally start with the concept of an atom in the very first unit and travel all the way to the building blocks of life, things like proteins and DNA in the biomolecules unit. It's an amazing journey from the tiniest particles to the most complex systems. And just like physics, chemistry has a huge practical side. You really need to understand the principles behind experiments like titrations, or how to systematically figure out what's in an unknown salt. They want to know you understand how to actually do chemistry, not just read about it.
Okay, so we've been all about engineering, but it's really important to remember that JEE Main isn't only for future engineers. There are also specialized papers for students who are passionate about architecture, that's Paper 2A, and for those interested in planning, which is Paper 2B.
So what's the big difference? It's pretty straightforward. Paper 1 is the full science gauntlet, math, physics, and chemistry. But for papers 2A and 2B, Math is the only core science subject tested. They basically swap out physics and chemistry for these specialized sections that are all about creativity, spatial reasoning, and general awareness.
And what are these specialized tests all about? Well, the aptitude test, which both papers have, is about seeing things in 3D in your mind and having sharp analytical skills. For B-Arch, you've also got a drawing test, where you might have to sketch a market scene from memory. And for B-Planning, it's more about general awareness, social sciences, and practical stuff like being able to read a map, a completely different skill set.
Phew! Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. We've dissected all 3 core subjects and peeked into the specialized papers. So now let's pull all this great information together into a clear, strategic map to get you started on your journey.
Here are the 4 big takeaways for you. Number 1, understand the structure. Don't see a list of 20 things, see 4 big ideas. 2, connect the concepts. See how calculus from math is the language of physics. 3, master those practical skills. They're in the syllabus for a reason. And finally, 4, choose your path. Knowing whether you're aiming for engineering, architecture, or planning changes your entire game plan.
So let's circle all the way back to where we started. The syllabus is not your enemy. It is not just a ridiculously long list of things to cram into your brain. It is your map. It's your guide, showing you how all these ideas link together to build one big, amazing picture of science and technology.
Every big journey starts with that first small step. You now have the map. You can see the whole terrain laid out in front of you. So the only question left is, what's the very first place you're going to explore?